What is up, guys? Lincoln here, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Dread Captures. We have put together an awesome video for you this week. We hope you love it. It takes lots of hard work, so please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and email us in any personal content you have, and even clips that you think are interesting. Send them in, we'll check them out, do some research, and see if we can put them in the video. Anyhow, enough of my blabbering. I'll see you in the comments. This next clip is said to have been seized by the government after it hit online. As you can see, there are some buffalo in the forefront of the video, just walking through some deep snow. But the real story is what's going on behind them. As we zoom in and take a look, there appears to be bipedal creatures walking through the woods in the background. Can you see them? Now, like many people, this video looks like evidence of Bigfoot, and people are saying that there is definitely more credibility because the government wanted it. My only real question is, why is that area of the film so blurry? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Sure, the entire video is blurry, but that specific spot where the Bigfoot is the blurriest. A commenter said that there is a type of manipulation you can do to videos to post online without detection. Now, I don't know about all that, but these definitely look like creatures. I'm just skeptical because of the way that it's blurry like that. Buckle up for this next story. We're headed to a supposedly haunted stretch of road somewhere down in Louisiana. Now, this road is known for weird sightings, with drivers reporting shadowy figures, ghostly apparitions, creatures all over this stretch of road. And this next clip doesn't disappoint. Check out this footage captured by a truck driver's dash cam. Slow it down and you might see what everyone's talking about. There's a figure on the side of the road with a pale, almost colorless body type. It looks to be crouched down with her back facing towards the truck. It looks like a woman, and even as the truck passes, she seems to wave. I mean, it gets even creepier because one of the driver's co-workers, a guy drives for the same company, apparently saw a ghost in the same spot. I mean, this is absolutely creepy. It's almost like she looked back and made eye contact with us. So what do you guys think? Did the driver catch a ghost on camera, or is there another explanation? I'd love to know your theories in the comments. Ghost or a hoax? Now, this is a pretty crazy video here. Look at this praying mantis up in the crook of this house, wandering up to a wasp's nest. I mean, there are a few things that strike me at first. You know, this praying mantis is bigger, but it's not gigantic. And these wasps, I mean, they're nothing to mess with. I mean, he quickly disposes of the one wasp, and you can see his buddy tries to come help him. I don't know. What I know about praying mantises is that they're ambush predators, but this guy seems like he was just coming up there to commit a crime. You know, these wasps weren't bothering anybody, but he decided he was going to go up there and get a snack. This is an Instagram channel. It is awesome. Nature is Metal. I have been a fan of this channel for years. I want to read you guys the quote that came on the description. It could be original. It could be from a movie, a famous person. I'm not sure, but it says, "What is it like to live life with no fear? Ask this mantis, standing on the edge of its own existence, munching on one of this colony's soldiers. Unburdened by the fact that at any moment they could all descend upon and make a meal of her. When death could arrive at any moment, there is little choice but to ride as close to the flames as possible. And you can't get much closer than that." Photo credit by @DanWilson_93 on Instagram. Again, Nature is Metal. If you don't follow them, they're amazing. Now this guy has it figured out. Can't go fishing because you have to work? Just walk right in the backyard. As you can see, this man's fishing in a sewer drain. He's got someone filming when he pulls a bass out of this storm drain. This is pretty incredible. Now, if you pause the video, you can see it looks like his backyard, his house butts up to a golf course. So I'm wondering if there isn't some type of pond that empties into this somehow. I don't know, but this is pretty hilarious. Now, I'm wondering a few things. First of all, how did he realize that there were fish in here? And secondly, how did the fish get in here? I don't know. If you have any insight, let me know. This is pretty cool. Have you ever heard of fishing for fish on land or in the mud? Well, believe it or not, that's exactly what they do in South Africa. It's hot and dry there, so much so that sometimes bodies of water dry up completely. And yes, this would be disastrous for most fish, but not for the lungfish. This amazing creature is like a mix between a fish and a land animal. It has gills for breathing underwater, but it also has a special organ that acts like a lung, allowing it to breathe air. When the water dries up, the lungfish doesn't just sit around and wait to die. It digs a burrow in the mud, secretes a mucus coating to create a kind of cocoon, and then hibernates until the rain comes back. What in the heck? Talk about tough. Lungfish can stay in this hibernation state for up to 4 years without any water at all. So I'm sure most of you are asking, how do you catch a fish that spends most of its time buried underground? Well, in South Africa, some people have become expert at finding lungfish. They know the signs to look for and use tools just like sticks and shovels to dig them out. If anything, these last 2 videos will prove to you that you don't need a boat to fish. Heck, you don't even need any water. In my personal life, I often talk about how crazy it really is that we have cameras everywhere. I mean, I'm just grateful they weren't around when I was a teenager. I am grateful they were around for things like this and all the other creepy stuff they catch on camera. But I have to admit, this is definitely a first for me. What is going on with this raccoon here? At first I couldn't tell what it was until I saw the back end, but this is a raccoon passing this Ring doorbell camera just on its front legs. The only thing that I can really come up with is that his back legs must be hurt, or he sees the camera and somehow he thinks he's sneaking by. Other people that have seen the video were calling this a skinwalker, and I'm not quite ready to endorse that. I think this guy's just trying to grab something to eat. Trail cameras are set up all over the place to let us get a sneak peek in how animals really act in the wild. And this stationary trail camera pointed at an owl's nest captures just that. It captures the moment a pine marten scales this tree and tries to make a meal out of these owl eggs. And just as Mr. Marten puts one in his mouth, boom, we see an owl dive bomb and clip the back of him. Now, I can't tell if he got away with the egg or not, but I don't think he'll be back. All I could think of when I saw that was Top Gun and Permission to Buzz the Tower. Now, as the camera whips around, we catch the second pine marten, and, well, he gets a little worse treatment. As he dips his head down, the owl flies through the night and clips the back of him. It's the closest thing to a hit and run you're going to see in the wild. And the pine marten just tumbles right off the top. Now, I'm definitely team owl on this, and I know the pine martens are just trying to find something to eat, but Mr. Owl says not today. I keep saying Mr., it's probably a Mrs. It's definitely a Mrs. Owl. Yeah, Mrs. Owl teaching them the lessons. Ice fishing in Russia. Loved only more by Russians are vodka and grizzly bears. As we see here, the man's signal has triggered that he has a fish on the line. He scampers out of his little cabin and grabs the pole and starts to reel it in. Sure enough. And it's a decent sized fish, actually. You can tell as he fiddles with it that he is freezing cold, first of all, and second of all, he can't get the hook out. He decides he needs a rag and some pliers to get the hook out of the fish's mouth. He lays the fish down, goes to retrieve them, and watch this. Yep, it's like the fish knew that freedom was mere inches away. He was not going to give up his life, and he wasn't going to risk the chance of himself or his family being caught, so he decided to take the fisherman's pole with him. As far as the fisherman goes, I'm pretty sure he learned a nice lesson here, and I hope he has another fishing pole, and or he is not planning on being there for too long. So at first glance, I thought that this was just a stationary trail camera at the end of this log, which it looks like it gets used a lot, so it's a good place for one. But the more I watch the video, the more I think that this actually might be a person filming this, and I am really intrigued as to how they got so close. But I don't know, I just don't see how this could be a person filming it, but it kind of looks like it is. Anyhow, now to the star of the clip, this coyote lugging this huge head, this huge decapitated carcass skull back to munch on, and for the life of me I cannot make out what this is. I think it's a head. I don't know if it could be of a cow. Let me know in the comments if you guys can make this out better than I can. So our first clip comes from a guy named Sunny Vator. He has his own YouTube channel, uploads tons of awesome Bigfoot footage, so make sure to check him out. And in this video, he's captured something pretty spectacular. Here his camera has captured a Bigfoot on a bridge, and look at the size of it. I mean, this thing is no joke. Initially, I thought there were two Bigfoots in the video, but then I realized, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the two creature-like shapes are actually the legs of this creature, which means this thing has the potential to be by far the biggest Bigfoot caught on camera. You can see his torso against the backdrop of the tree line, and frankly, I'm surprised this bridge can even hold this guy. He eventually kneels down, maybe realizing he's being filmed, and exits the same way he came. I don't really know what to make of this. It seems to have come from a pretty reputable source, so I'm very interested in hearing everyone's take on this capture. The next clip comes from a small town named Wintergreen, Virginia, a town located in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Now, the police in this area always get calls of weird or suspicious creatures lurking around. The only difference with this one is that this one comes with pictures. The first picture released by Wintergreen Police shows a big hairy creature in broad daylight. At first glance, I thought the big green box was a dumpster, and he was heading to do some dumpster diving. But it appears it's just an electrical box. Now, police released a statement and even put it on the news, saying that this is all a hoax. Quote, "Someone having a laugh that wanted to start a lighthearted conversation," whatever that means. Now, residents are still skeptical, but they really feel like this next photo is genuine. Taken off to the side of some train tracks, this photo was captured on camera and sent in to the police. Now that part seems a little weird, sending a picture to the police, but out of both pictures, the second one looks more realistic to me. Here are some of the comments of the video released. Take a look at how skeptical the viewers are. So what do you guys think? I'm 50-50 on it. This is a cool clip. We see a wild mountain dog that has found this carcass, and he is trying his damnedest to drag it up the hill to eat it. Well, this snow leopard has different thoughts. And let's get the obvious things out of the way first. This leopard is freaking beautiful. Look at the pattern on it. Anyway, as you can see, he makes it to the carcass. The leopard actually catches the dog off guard. The dog is just dragging this thing, and boom, there's a leopard in his face. I'll give credit to the dog because he doesn't do much more than a little flinch before he grits his teeth and is ready to fight to protect his find. If you watch closely, it's funny though, you see the dog's entire demeanor change. And it looks like the leopard kind of tilts its head. That must be some kind of animal code, a calm before the store type thing, because the dog quickly gives up the meal and retreats. I'm thinking the dog kind of had a come to Jesus moment. Like, wait, I ought to just let this leopard carry away this cold dead carcass before it drags me away as a warm dead carcass. Okay, so check this video out. This is so strange to me. This video takes place in a park as a man is just riding his bike with his trusty dog by his side. The clip says the man has been there before and has had issue with the 2 black dogs that he actually just spotted. He calls his pup over and he is ready to get out of there. But watch as he starts pedaling away. Out of nowhere, one of the black dogs is beelining right for him. But his dog flies in there and meets that other dog head on. As the scuffle ensues, don't worry, no animals were hurt, we see the other dog try to get in on the action. But watch as MacGyver over here literally has a trick up his sleeve. The man has assembled some type of contraption that uses a loud firecracker-like defense system, and it scares these 2 bullies away. So even though that video was short, I feel like it was low-key super crazy. Like, I have so many questions. Whose dogs are those? Why are they aggressive, and why are they running around this park? The guy said he knew of them, so it's not a one-off occurrence. Like, whose dogs are those? Get your dogs. Okay, so just to kind of set the stage of this video, an owner of a restaurant shared this video to Reddit and no one seems to know what it is. He thinks it's important to mention that there are no windows in this part of the building, so this could not be a reflection of someone walking by. Check it out. The security camera footage from inside the workplace shows exactly what you would expect at a restaurant during the night. However, quickly we see what appears to be a shadowy shape moving in the background, which has definitely sparked some debate. When the video is played slowly and zoomed in, the figure seems somewhat see-through. Some think it might be an employee or a trick of light, while others are convinced it's a genuine shadow figure similar to those reported by others. The paranormal community is particularly engrossed in this clip. They are discussing different ideas about what it could be, what it isn't. What's clear is that this is a video and it's much more than just someone's imagination at play.
It's not my moose, but it's a wild animal.
Now, I don't usually side with the person raising all the cane and cussing at people, but this guy's right. They are idiots. Well, at minimum, they're drunk, so they aren't operating with the full deck, but they need to get away from that moose. I know we've all seen how bad these things can end. At one point, the guys even talk about touching the moose and fire back at the guy. He walks up to the moose and hits it on its backside. As he turns to run, he slips and the moose does a little half-hearted stampede run. You know, I hope these kids learned a lesson and won't do this again. However, I doubt it. I have to link this video in the description so you guys can listen to the full audio. It's tough for us to play because of all the cussing, but the end is funny. Let me know in the comments if you watch it, and let me know what you think about the guy in the end rooting for the moose. I love this video. Okay, so in 2018, a man from Japan stumbled upon something pretty bizarre at his local playground. At certain times of the day, he'd noticed this swaying back and forth all on its own with no one around it. No one pushing it. Intrigued and eager to share this strange event with his friends, he decided to set up a camera to capture the whole thing on film. But he didn't stop there. He also used a separate camera to record the scene from a different angle. This captivating footage eventually made its way to Fourth Wall's YouTube channel. What made the video especially eerie wasn't just the self-moving swing. In the video, you can also see a mysterious dark figure standing motionless next to a tree. Oddly enough, this figure seemed to be staring directly at the swinging motion, as if somehow willing it to move. Or, in my opinion, more creepily, watching a spirit of a young child swing. But here's when things get even weirder. When you look at the footage shot from the man's phone, that mysterious figure by the tree is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the playground appears to be completely empty. The man who recorded the video later admitted that he hadn't even noticed the figure when he was at the playground. He only became aware of his presence when he was reviewing and comparing the footage from the 2 different camera angles. So, what do you think is going on here? It's quite the head scratcher, right? I feel like if someone goes through the trouble to set up 2 different cameras from 2 different angles, he's at least, well, at minimum, he's freaked out. So there's a strange vibe from the get-go. And if we think about the alternatives, I don't think it's just a windy day and the swing is swinging, blowing in the wind. There's nothing creepy about that, and the man probably wouldn't have even noticed it. A user on Reddit recently shared a captivating video captured by a security camera. The footage presents a quiet yard, only dimly lit by a few scattered lights. Within a few moments of the video starting, a mysterious mist-like figure begins to appear on the right side of the frame. This presence seems to drift or glide without really any clear direction. And as suddenly as it appeared, it fades away equally. What follows next was even more unsettling. The camera picked up a peculiar sound, a noise that could be described as a distant scream. However, the source of this eerie sound remains a mystery. Some viewers have speculated that it might have been a passing car, or perhaps the whistle of the wind. I don't know about that. There doesn't seem to be any noticeable movement of the plants, which typically sway with the gust of wind, but nevertheless, anything is possible. Anyhow, of course it could all be a hoax, but let me know what you think. As for the mysterious mist-like figure, there's been no shortage of theories. Some have just joked that it could be someone exhaling from a vape, while others wonder if it's merely the results of sprinklers turning on. A few have even suggested it's just a trick of light or a bug or a reflection. Regardless of the theories, this has definitely left the owners and their neighbors feeling pretty uneasy. As for my take, I don't know, doesn't feel that paranormal to me. Maybe I'm just numb to it now. So, while on a camping trip, a family from California experienced something strange and frightening. As they relaxed at their campsite, a bizarre hissing sound began to echo around them. Curious and a bit worried, they set out to find the source and come face to face with something terrifying. It looked like a humanoid, but had an evil, unholy presence. Panicked, the family quickly backed away. But Dad managed to get a video of the figure from afar. The kids can be seen in the video, clearly terrified, running away from this odd creature. When they look at the video more closely, slowing it down and zooming in, the figure seemed to be a spooky woman with a torso resembling a tree trunk. I mean, it moves slowly and in a pretty disturbing way, particularly the way its arms are swaying. I mean, I don't know what this thing could be. Whatever it is, I can tell you what, it's not friendly. Justin Fender is your everyday content creator on TikTok, sharing his car, bike, and family stories with the world. All seemed pretty ordinary until one fateful day when things took a spine-tingling turn. You see, Justin posted a TikTok video showcasing how to install reverse lights on his car, which seems harmless enough, but here's where it gets eerie. One curious viewer popped up, asking just how bright those reverse lights could actually get. Now, most folks would simply brush it off with a laugh, but not our guy Justin. Oh no, he was determined to show his viewers exactly how powerful these bad boys were. During the dead of night, Justin ventures out into the woods with his trusty camera in the pitch black forest. Just him, his car, and the looming darkness. Determined to make a video for the people. But what he captured in that footage would leave him and his viewers questioning everything. As he flipped on those reverse lights, a chilling sight unfolded right before our eyes. Right there, wrapped around a tree, a pale bony arm emerged into the dim glow of the lights. And slowly, it slithered out of sight. I mean, can you imagine the shock and adrenaline that washed over Justin's audience as they saw this eerie encounter? The incident spooked Justin and his followers naturally, and once Justin finally saw the arm in the video, he decided to investigate. But even in the daylight, the forest had an ominous aura. Let's see what he found. Well, he did his best to rationalize it away, claiming it could be a random person, a homeless wanderer, or a hobo seeking refuge in the woods. What do you guys think? Could this really just be a mere mortal seeking shelter in the wilderness? Or was something far more paranormal at play? I not only want, but I need to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Is it an alien reaching out from the other side, trying to make its presence known? The video evidence is showing one thing, but it's still hard for the human mind to rationalize it. My first initial thought of this is that this guy seems and feels super believable. He comes off as genuine. He was so engrossed and excited about these taillights, and he's not acting over the top about this instance. Maybe he's a great actor, and in that case, bravo to Justin. However, it looks like he didn't even notice this creepy arm until roughly a month later. I don't know what's real, but this feels pretty real. This is Terrence Leono, a YouTuber who finds solace in the woods, capturing his soulful singing for all to enjoy. Sounds like a nice hobby, right? But one fateful day, things took a turn that'll have you questioning every shadow in the forest. As Terrence was live streaming his usual woodland serenade, a curious deer found its way into the scene. As the deer stood there seemingly intrigued by Terrence's soft voice, something else lurked in the darkness.
Pretty sure he was looking for where the sound was coming from, but I stopped and started talking and now he's confused. Alright.
Pay close attention because you can spot not one, but two eerie figures lurking among the trees. A slim figure and a shadowy presence peering out from the woods just beyond the deer. Terrence's viewers were left in awe and terror, speculating about the identity of these ominous figures. The theory started pouring in like rain on a stormy night. Could they be skinwalkers? Those elusive and shape-shifting beings from native folklore? Or perhaps cryptids? The creatures of the unknown that walk the line between myth and reality? Whatever they were, one thing was certain. There was something eerie going on in those woods. In this eerie footage, we see this brave guy ventures into the mysterious waters of Malaysia. But hold on tight, cause this isn't your average river stroll. As he takes off his shoes, terror strikes. Several leeches have latched onto his feet, adding to the strangeness of this video. But that's just the beginning of this haunting tale. With nerves of steel, he raises his camera to capture what lies ahead. And what he captures has definitely left me guessing. Sitting inside the waterfall is a girl, her dark black hair cascading around her. But here's the eerie part. There's no source for this video. We're left pondering, unable to really tell whether it's real, edited, or a mere fake. Could it be a genuine encounter with the supernatural? Or are we just witnessing an expertly crafted illusion? I actually covered this crazy eyewitness account a few days after the event.
When that happened, the only thing I can see in the backyard is a tall creature.
A user on TikTok, going by the handle Streets of Heaven or Gold, uploaded a video, and it captured the attention of many online. He was detailing a string of strange events that transpired in his community. His story, spanning just over 7 minutes, provides his perspective on what took place on May 1st, 2023. He and his brother were enjoying a quiet evening in their Las Vegas backyard, right around midnight. Suddenly, a peculiar noise sounded from the sky above them. As they turned to look, they saw a brilliant light plummeting earthward. Before they could even react, there was a powerful crash as whatever it was hit the ground. But it didn't end there. The two brothers then began hearing footsteps surrounding them.
The footsteps around me.
In the darkness, a tall figure measuring somewhere between 8 to 10 feet and with a remarkably lean structure emerged. Without missing a beat, the TikTok user rushed to get their father, who, to their shock, also witnessed this intimidating being. Their dad's immediate reaction was to usher them inside, and it was during this commotion that they managed to record the video. Though the figure is somewhat obscured in the video, the uploader swears it's there. He later adds another twist to the story, claiming that when he went to grab some tools, he came face to face with another similar entity. This creature, he says, had a sizable face and a tall, thin frame, displaying a greenish-gray hue. He felt paralyzed, comparing the sensation to sleep paralysis.
It was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray-greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind, I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird-looking feet and a big face, and eyes, and you can see a big mouth.
However, a few heart-pounding moments later, he regained control and sprinted back to safety. Following this, they called 911.
8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we're terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. Big eyes. They have big eyes,
Okay.
like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
As they anxiously waited, sounds resembling footsteps echoed from their roof. The responding officers listened intently to the TikToker's account.
You see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe.
In a twist, one officer even mentioned his partner had seen something plummet from the sky earlier that evening, captured on their body cam. The officers inspected the backyard, finding a perfectly round imprint in the soil. On their way out, one of the officers jokingly told the family, "If those 9-foot beings show up again, don't bother calling us."
If beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
Handle it yourselves. Once alone, the family sought comfort in prayer. But then, a chilling scream, eerily human-like, emanated from their backyard.
Like scream in the backyard.
This is where the TikTok video cuts off, with a promise of a second part to come. But oddly, it appears the user has since deleted his account. Many skeptics speculate this was a ploy for attention and online fame. However, the story does have elements backed by the police. And curiously, the TikToker has vanished from the platform. Let's shift our focus to something that is as equally captivating. Have you seen this footage yet? It shows a magnificent animal darting across the camera's view. Its movements so quick they're almost a blur. This creature's agility and speed are pretty impressive. Observing its remarkable size and the rich color of its fur, it's hard not to be amazed by what nature has to offer. Now you might be thinking, could it be a bear? But in my opinion, bears don't usually move the way this creature does. And while we might consider apes like chimps or gorillas, they generally don't walk on their hind limbs in the way this creature seems to. That leads us to an intriguing possibility. Could this be footage of the elusive creature known as Bigfoot? However, there's an unusual detail in the footage that we can't ignore. The creature seems smaller than the typical depictions we've seen of Bigfoot. Could it be a young Bigfoot, perhaps still growing into its legendary size? My team and I find this possibility to be quite compelling. But what do you think? Could this be a juvenile Bigfoot, or is there another explanation that we're missing? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so share them in the comments below. In our upcoming segment, we have footage showcasing what some believe to be an actual fairy captured on camera in England. A man was recording his children as they played in the garden when he noticed an unusual creature that seemed like an insect on a nearby tree.
Some there, but most of them are on the floor and have got massive holes in them. What's that? Yeah.
Oh, look.
What's what? Yeah, look. Right up there. Insect or something.
Is that an insect? Let's have a look. What is it?
I don't know. Oh my god.
Ugh.
When he approached for a better look, he was in for quite the surprise. Upon reviewing the slowed footage, this flying entity seems to display leg-like structures and a somewhat human-like shape. Could this be an unfamiliar insect species? A genuine fairy? Or just a meticulously crafted fake? I'm leaning towards CGI, but I'd love to hear your opinion. This intriguing video was shot in Amesbury, located in Wiltshire, England. What it captures is nothing short of fascinating. 4 lights shimmering at a distance, but within moments, one of these lights fades and disappears. The person holding the camera quickly zooms in, trying to get a closer view. As the lens focuses, the central light starts to flicker, and then, just like the first, it vanishes. The camera person readjusts, trying to get a clearer shot, but out of the blue, a third light blinks out faster than the first 2. And sure enough, a few seconds later, the 4th and final light fades away. Though the video might give some a supernatural vibe initially, there's speculation about a more mundane explanation. Some viewers have pointed out that these lights could be flares. One person even noted that there was an aerial show in Amesbury around the same time the footage was taken. England has a rich history of UFO sightings that have piqued the interest of researchers, UFO enthusiasts, and the general public alike. For hundreds of years, tales of mysterious flying objects have captured imaginations, stirring speculation about life beyond our planet. Reports have come from every corner of the country, detailing inexplicable aerial occurrences. Some describe unknown objects with strange flight behaviors, while others speak of their incredible speed and agility. Incidents range from the widely known Rendlesham Forest episode in 1980, which some refer to as Britain's answer to Roswell, to more contemporary accounts by everyday people, and even trained pilots. Yet, despite thorough examinations by both scientists and UFO experts, many of these unusual sightings remain unexplained. This only fuels discussions and debates about potential visits from extraterrestrial beings, and the pressing need for open investigations. Nevertheless, it's important to note that the British government, along with many others globally, generally remains skeptical about the idea of alien UFOs. Most of the sightings are often chalked up to mistaken identities of familiar terrestrial objects or events. From the shores of Cornwall, England, in November 2020, a luminous sphere dashes in view, hovering momentarily. It then shoots straight upwards, disappearing from sight. Let's take another look. It slows down abruptly, then soars vertically. The object seems to ascend almost 3,000 feet in just about a second. Anthropologist Michael Masters shares an intriguing perspective on this vehicle.
Maybe they're us. Maybe they're coming from the future to examine their own hominin evolutionary past.
Masters proposes that if humans from the future possess the ability to traverse time and visit their past, they might equally have the technology to design vessels capable of such astounding feats.
it in the video? It's crazy. I was listening to it the whole way up here. I mean, we were literally like in the... Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe about a window.
Oh, I'm getting this. Whoa. Oh my God.
This is just an insane video. Miraculously, everyone was okay except for some minor cuts and bruises. I've never been in a tornado, and I would really have to fight the urge to watch one, but I definitely know to not stand in front of that glass door. Also, I feel like there were many signs for them to seek shelter. But especially when those bluish lights flashed indicating the wind had taken out some electricity poles or ripped something off its base. Nevertheless, amazing camera capture, and I'm grateful and astounded that everyone was okay. Check out this crazy capture that shows some type of strange creature flying through the air. I'm very interested in where you guys think this creature could have come from. What's even more interesting is that it seems out of place. Normally we see forest animals or strange beings on trail cameras. This appears to be a gigantic lizard. Now, of course, we all know that large lizards do exist, but the one we're looking at might be a species we've never seen before. Usually lizards don't jump. And even if they did, it's hard to imagine them reaching the height we see in the footage. The person who shared this amazing video thinks we might be looking at a new species of meat-eating lizards. If that's true, this would be an incredible discovery. Do you think this creature might have some connection to underwater life? It seems to have some features that remind me of a fish. I have to say, as someone who loves exploring and learning about new creatures, this footage has piqued my curiosity. The idea that we might be looking at something entirely new is both thrilling and a little bit scary. When I first saw this image, I felt a sense of intrigue, but there's also a small voice inside me saying that this might be too incredible to be true. So, what do you all think? What's your take on this capture? In this next clip, we found something really interesting. A creature that looks like a bear but has a strange stripe of hair on its back. Even after checking the internet and using all the ways we know to identify it, we're still not sure what it is. Some online Google searches first thought it was a type of bear called a cinnamon bear, but the unique hair on its back doesn't match any bear we know about. So we're left with a mystery. Is this just a known animal with some different features? Or is it a completely new creature that's got local people talking? Another puzzle is where it comes from because the person who shared its picture hasn't told us. With all these questions, I'm curious about what you think. What do you believe this creature is? I stumbled upon this clip while researching for this video. As you can see, a pack of wild dogs has pinned these goats to the literal side of a boulder. And I apologize, I don't know the actual name of the goats, but wow, are they impressive. Their hooves allow them to cling to the rock in a way that puts them just out of harm's way of the dogs. I mean, this might possibly be the definition of so close, yet so far away. These goats are stoic as they calmly wait out the hungry dogs. The dogs are absolutely thwarted. They come from every angle, just trying to get close enough to grab a piece of one of them. The internet loved the video, and there were some good comments such as, When things seem really bad, don't panic. Stick to the plan, hold your ground, and trust yourself. Lesson learned. Stay calm in every situation is a win-win in life. Sometimes the most dangerous place is also the safest place. Nevertheless, what an amazing skill and adaptation these goats have. In our upcoming Trailcam footage, we venture into the woods during a rainstorm. Picture this. You're trekking through the wet forest when suddenly, something resembling a middle-aged man catches your eye. But on closer inspection, you realize this isn't a man. It's covered in fur. A moment of realization dawns upon you. Could this be a real-life Bigfoot? A mix of fear and adrenaline hit your body. Well, that's precisely what you're about to witness in this clip. Look closely. You can see it moving through the trees. At first glance, it might seem like an ordinary man, but it appears to be a creature standing over 7 feet tall. Could this be the genuine Bigfoot? Or is it just someone in a clever disguise? Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. This was captured by a home security system in November 2022. This particular clip made its way to TikTok, quickly catching the attention of many. The footage starts off quite ordinarily. A young girl is engrossed in her computer, chatting away with her dad. As the conversation progresses, the father mentions that he's about to take a shower. He tells his daughter to wrap up whatever she's doing and get ready for bed. However, once he leaves the room, the ordinary scene starts to shift into something quite unexpected and eerie. If you watch closely, you'll notice 2 chairs from the dining room eerily sliding across the floor, seemingly on their own. The movement is sudden and unexpected. The girl, clearly startled by this unexplained occurrence, calls out in alarm to her father and gets up and follows him. From her reaction, it seems evident that she's genuinely terrified. This leaves us with an intriguing question. Was this a simple, albeit elaborate prank orchestrated by someone in the family to scare the young girl? Or did the camera genuinely capture something inexplicable? The footage has undoubtedly left many viewers scratching their heads, wondering about the true nature of the mysterious event they just witnessed. Now, I'm definitely interested in what you guys think about this. I guess it's not totally out of the ordinary to have a camera overlooking your home, but this seems a bit strange to have it directly over your kitchen table. To each their own, I guess. I will say, the girl's reaction seems genuine, so whatever is going on here, whether a prank or not, I don't think she's in on it. Today we examine an intriguing find from Missouri that has captured both the scientific and public imagination. A hiker recently discovered a set of tracks that are unsettlingly similar to human footprints, yet larger in scale. What makes these tracks especially captivating is not just their size, but also their distinct human-like features, leading us to ponder what sort of enormous creature might be responsible for leaving them behind. Given the characteristics of the tracks and their depth in the ground, it's not unreasonable to consider the existence of a large and powerful entity. The obvious name that comes to mind in this context is Bigfoot, or as some refer to him as Sasquatch. Over the years, accounts of Bigfoot sightings and similar tracks have been reported across various regions of North America, including Missouri. These recurring reports invite us to consider whether these creatures are simply living their lives in remote areas, or whether there's a more complex agenda at play. Is it possible they are organizing or even plotting something? While it may sound far-fetched, the questions are hard to dismiss entirely. So, as we mull over this recent discovery, we're left to grapple with its possible implications. Is this evidence of Bigfoot or perhaps another unidentified creature? Could there be a more mundane explanation, like an elaborate hoax or misidentification? And if it is the former, should we be concerned about what these creatures might be up to? I'd love to hear your thoughts on these puzzling tracks. Do you think they lend credence to the existence of Bigfoot, or are you skeptical? In this next capture, we're going on a journey to Cannock Chase, a forested area that harbors a deeply unsettling secret. In one particular section of these woods, dolls were found hanging from the trees. And let's be clear, what you're seeing is not a scene from a horror film. It's a real location within Cannock Chase. This was a major event and has been covered by many investigators. According to local reports, these dolls appeared seemingly out of nowhere and were arranged in a rather disturbing manner. Adding to the eeriness, a Ouija board was later discovered near the site, only intensifying the atmosphere of fear and dread. Understandably, those who came across this mysterious setting were shaken, and the story quickly gained traction, spreading across social media and other online platforms. The lack of an explanation led to a surge of speculation. Some suggested the wooded area was cursed, while others believed that the dolls were the work of a secretive cult. There was even talk of the area being used for some sort of ritualistic practice. Despite the spread of various theories, no concrete evidence has been produced to explain the doll's origin or purpose. Over time, the unease surrounding the dolls escalated to the point where people avoided the area altogether, fearful of what might befall them if they ventured too close. Eventually, the situation reached such a height of public concern that law enforcement stepped in. A police officer removed all the dolls and the Ouija board, and since then, no new reports have surfaced. But this brings us to an unsettling question. By removing these mysterious items, did the police officer unknowingly interact with forces beyond our understanding? And what, if any, consequences has the officer faced since that action? Unfortunately, these are questions to which we may never get clear answers. So now we turn to you, our viewers. What are your thoughts on this mysterious situation? Do you think the area was actually cursed, or is there a more earthly explanation? And what do you make of the police officer's actions? Necessary public service or risky meddling with the unknown? We're eager to hear your opinions on this perplexing tale. Recently, a curious discovery was posted that has captured the attention of many. In the shared image, you can spot a unique rectangular-shaped cloud. It's definitely not something you see every day. For many who saw this post, their minds immediately jumped to scenes from the movie Nope. This film follows the intriguing story of a brother and sister duo who uncover something deeply unsettling in the skies above their California horse ranch. Meanwhile, a nearby theme park owner sees an opportunity and attempts to capitalize on this strange, otherworldly occurrence. The film had resonated with its audience because it hinted at the idea of covert government operations that might have the capability to manipulate cloud patterns, possibly to conceal UFOs. Naturally, this image sparked a lively debate. Some viewers were convinced that what they saw in the photo was evidence of a secretive government operation at play. They're convinced that there's more to these cloud formations than meets the eye. On the other hand, there's a group of skeptics. They argue that there's a scientific explanation for this peculiar cloud shape. Perhaps it's just a rare atmospheric occurrence or an optical illusion. So what's your take on this? Do you think there's a hidden story behind this unusual cloud, or is it just Mother Nature showing off her creativity? Whatever the case, it's always fascinating when the wonders of nature intersect with our imaginations and popular culture. Here is another haunting trail camera capture that invites more questions than it provides answers. At your first look, you might think you're seeing an ordinary person out for a late night stroll in the woods. But the more you look, the more unsettling the image becomes. On closer inspection, the figure seems to be wearing some sort of uniform, hinting at a possible motive or occupation, like hunting perhaps. But that's where normalcy ends and the eerie begins. You see, this figure doesn't appear to have a face, giving it a rather ghostly aura. The image challenges our initial assumptions, and we're forced to consider, could this be a paranormal figure? Let's bounce a few ideas around. Is this a wandering spirit caught by the camera? Could it be a shapeshifter mid-transformation, perhaps on a mission of vengeance? Or might this be what some cultures describe as a lost soul, forever roaming the physical realm? It's tough to make a definitive judgment given the nature of what's captured. The image exists at the intersection of what we know and what remains unknown, teasing the boundaries of our understanding of the natural world and whatever may lie beyond it. Now, the most exciting part, what do you think is going on in this perplexing image? Is it easily explainable? Or are we looking at evidence of something beyond our ordinary understanding? A few months back, a Reddit user who goes by the name Little Space Moki posted a video that really got people talking. The video was shot on September 29, 2022, and shows something pretty intriguing. A mysterious object floating past the moon. Now, this isn't just any object. It's shaped like a disc, reminding a lot of us of those classic alien flying saucers we've seen in movies and comics. Apparently, the video was shot using some high-quality, professional-grade equipment, and it's said to have been filmed somewhere in China. As you can imagine, this footage spread like wildfire on Reddit. People couldn't stop talking about it. Comments were coming in by the hundreds. Everyone was trying to figure out what they were seeing. Is it real, or is it just an elaborate hoax? Some folks were skeptical, saying it all seemed a bit too perfect, almost like a scene from a sci-fi movie. They were questioning whether it could really be genuine. But on the flip side, there were people who pointed out that creating a fake video of this quality would be really tough. They argued that if someone tried to use CGI to make it, the video would probably end up looking more artificial. And that brings us to another interesting question. With so many people around the world constantly watching and recording the moon, why haven't more sources come forward to confirm this sighting? You'd think that if something that extraordinary happened, other cameras would have caught it too, right? This next clip is a little different, but it caught my attention while researching this video. Originating from South America, the video was uploaded to TikTok by a user named Edward Ramirez. At the start, you wouldn't think much of it. A woman is casually walking downstairs from her apartment, minding her own business. But then things take a turn for the mysterious. Out of nowhere, a transparent figure wearing a white dress emerges from the top right corner of the screen. She stays there for a moment, as if contemplating something, and then vanishes into thin air. But wait, there's more. Shortly after the figure disappears, a chair slides across the floor all by itself. Now, for those who are familiar with South American folklore, this might ring a bell. The White Lady is a well-known character in these stories, often depicted as a ghostly or supernatural being. She's usually dressed in white and roams around isolated spots like graveyards, ruins, or desolate roads. Depending on the specific country and its cultural traditions, the tales of the White Lady might differ. However, one common thread is that her appearance is often seen as an omen of bad news, or even death. The origins of the White Lady legend in South America are a bit murky, and that adds to the intrigue. It's widely believed that these stories have been passed down through generations, mostly through word of mouth. Some historians think that the concept of the White Lady was actually introduced to the region by European settlers, specifically from Spain and Portugal, and that it's a blend of native beliefs and colonial influences. Interestingly, the White Lady isn't unique to South American folklore. She appears in various cultural stories across the world, including Europe, where she's been a part of local legends for centuries. So, whether you believe in ghosts or not, this chilling footage and the story behind it are enough to make even the skeptics pause and wonder. The footage was captured by a home security camera and then uploaded to Twitter. Where it originally came from is still a mystery. But as soon as it hit the internet, it spread like wildfire across various social media platforms. The video shows two misty shapes gliding through a yard, and they're pretty eerie to look at. They resemble floating figures dressed in what could either be robes or maybe tattered rags. It's hard to tell. But here's the kicker. These mysterious shapes seem to have an effect on the camera's motion detection system. As they move through the yard, the lights come on, clearly suggesting that whatever these shapes are, they're substantial enough to trigger the sensors. And when they vanish from the frame, the lights switch off, and the camera transitions into its night vision mode. This adds another layer to the mystery, implying that there was definitely something in that yard. Something big enough to set off the motion detectors. The frustrating part is, no one has any clue where or when this footage was taken. That makes it incredibly difficult to dig deeper and explore the history of the property where this all went down. Could it be a prank, an optical illusion, or something genuinely unexplained? Here is another piece of trail camera footage that demands your attention, both for its chilling nature and the questions it raises. The owner of the camera set it up in a wooded pathway, likely expecting to capture some wildlife or even trespassers. What they found instead has the air of something far odder. If you review the footage carefully, and perhaps you might want to watch it a second or even third time, you'll see a shadowy white figure flitting through the woods, partially obscured by trees. This isn't your garden variety glitch or smudge on the lens. The movement is too deliberate, the form too distinct. The immediate question that springs to mind is, what could this figure be? Your initial instinct might lean towards something supernatural. A ghost, perhaps, or some other form of spirit. Skeptics among you might suspect some kind of camera trickery. Yet the footage itself seems too authentic for such dismissals. The concept of encountering a ghostly figure is deeply captivating. Throughout human history, tales of ghosts, spirits, and other supernatural entities have permeated cultural narratives worldwide. These stories are not confined to one region or era, but are a global phenomenon that transcends boundaries. This begs the question, could there be a grain of truth in these age-old stories? And if so, could this footage be part of that larger tapestry? So what's your take on this? Do you think the footage captures something truly supernatural, or are there other options that we should consider? Given the other seemingly realistic ghostly images we've discussed on this channel, where does this one fit in? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.